Friends, today we'll be discussing about our second aphorism. But before I come to the second aphorism, I would like to share an experience which I came across when I saw a particular video. In this video, the anchor was having a face-off between an allopathic doctor and a homeopathic doctor. Now the homeopathic doctor, as usual, he told that how is that your allopathic medicines have got like lot of side effects, and even calpol can kill some cells every time you are taking one calpol. It will create so many other harms. And the allopathic doctor told, what is there if it kills few cells? This was a doctor's way of explaining that what happens if it kills a few cells, it is still bringing down the temperature. So at that particular time, when a person has fever, bringing down the calpol is of course a paracetamol tablet, that if it just brings down the fever, then what the hell do you want with the other things? What is wrong if it kills a few cells? But do you think cure really works that way? Yeah, has it to be so temporary that you take the medicine and then you get relief and then again it comes, then we will see. Does cure work like that? So for cure to work, it has to have certain rules or laws on which it has to be based. Now cure just is not a simple term. To attain or to give cure to patient, often you end up being so taxed. So being a doctor, it becomes your duty, whole and soul duty, that you treat the patient and cure the patient in how? Shorter, the rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of the health, or removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent, in the shortest, most reliable, most harmless way, on easily comprehensible principles. So when we see this aphorism, you have to understand that normally the question which comes in your exam is, what is the highest ideal of cure? Now how do you explain such a big aphorism? It's very important and very easy. So how is it easy? As I told you, if you have to study an aphorism, you have to always divide the aphorism into bits and pieces and then explain and give the proper explanation to that particular part. For example, we will start with the highest ideal of cure is what? Is rapid. So the cure has to be rapid. Now why rapid? Why are we so much giving importance to the time? Of course, your generation will be able to appreciate it better, because now is the generation where we give too much importance to everything fast. For example, fast food. So everything has to be fast. But does always fastness only has to be considered, or rapid is important? Rapid is important. Why? Because of three main reasons. First reason being, if it is not rapid, the suffering of the patient keeps on increasing. Second, most important, tissue damage increases. That is, disease is progressing. Every single minute counts, because each time the patient is neglected, the patient's health is becoming worse, suffering is becoming worse, more tissue is getting damaged, disease is progressing faster and faster. So your medicine should be able to cope with that. But in all the diseases, will it work? Rapidness work? Rapidness depends upon, or depends upon disease to disease. That is, if the disease is acute, then the medicine should show its action, or should be rapid enough, and the improvement should be seen in hours or days. But if the disease is chronic, then again, depending upon the chronicity of the disease and for how long it has been in the body, the effect might be seen from days to months. So, a medicine should act rapid, reasons being these three important reasons. So, now we understood rapid. Then we will go to the next part, that is gentle. The suffering patient should not be made to suffer more. So, the treatment should not be creating problem for the patient. Suppose a patient is having two symptoms, headache and stomach pain, and you gave some medicine. It should not, the two symptoms should go, plus patient should feel better. At the same time, another new disease should not come up. This is the part where allopathies totally differ from homeopathy, because their treatment is never gentle. Let it be those days with counter irritants or repellent remedies, or you take it now. That is, they always kill something in the body, trying to make some difference for the patient. Dire cure always or restoration always being temporary. So, your disease, for treating, the medicine should be working in a gentle manner, not creating or causing more trouble to the patient. So, no new disease should be brought up. The existing disease should get cured, but not creating another disease or opening the door for another disease. Now we will go to the third part, that is permanent restoration. So, permanent restoration of the health means what? That is removal and annihilation of the disease. Now, this again includes three specific parts. That is, when there is removal, to tell that the disease is totally annihilated or removed, all the signs and symptoms of disease should go. That's one thing. Along with all the signs and symptoms leaving the body, there should be internal improvement. That is, suppose when you are having a severe headache, you might have lost your appetite, you were not able to sleep proper. So when this headache goes, you should internally also feel better, your appetite should come back, your thirst should come back, you should be able to sleep better. So an internal improvement both in physical and mental level is also important. The third thing, so it should not be like there is an order in which disease comes in the body. So the disease should go also in a particular order. For example, it should follow the Herring's law of cure. I have already explained Herring's law of cure in the previous class. So this you should explain there. So permanent restoration and removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent means all signs and symptoms should go, internal improvement should be there, and with the internal improvement, the signs and symptoms should go in such a way that they should follow the Herring's law of cure. So we have covered till here. Now what? Next we will be dealing with shortest. Generally, when we use the word shortest, the main thing which comes in our mind is shortcuts. But to treat the patient, you should never take shortcuts. No shortcuts. Shortcut means if the patient comes with some 3-4 symptoms or 3-4 diseases together. Now you tell that I will treat this disease first. I'll take the shortest route. Only that I will treat, and once that goes, I'll take some other. I'll take the next one. We're not supposed to do that. We have to understand the type of the case, understand it properly, and treat the patient as a whole unit. We don't work like how allopathics work. That is, one remedy for headache, one remedy for stomach pain, then one medicine for some skin complaint and one medicine for something. We don't work like that. Homeopathy believes in the holistic concept that treating the patient as a whole. So anywhere you pinch the patient is going to feel the pain. But might be the area differs, but the pain is felt by the patient himself. So we treat the disease as a whole. Now when you treat the disease as a whole, you cannot take shortcuts while treating the disease. You have to understand the disease and give a cure which should be shortest, means it has to be to give a shortest relief. It has to be a exact simillimum. Don't beat around the bush. See the most similar remedy and treat. The disease will go off in the shortest possible time. Now, when you are telling about the simillimum and no shortcuts, you have to realize that homeopathy does not have or does not create any side effects. Our medicines have no side effects. But it has got effects. So the use has to be according to the need and depending on the principles. Now it has to be most reliable and most harmless way. Now let's consider the most harmless way. So for the cure to be most harmless, first you have to understand what are the type of cures which are done by allopathics. Now I can give you some recent examples also. Many patients come up with a high level of cholesterol. Now for hyperlipidemia or having high levels of cholesterol, patients are treated commonly with statins. Now statins are the drugs which are used by allopathics for hyperlipidemia. But do you know that if you keep on having statins, it can create stomach upset, stomach derangements, diarrhea, and most important, can make the patient diabetic. How is that? Statins actually make the patient insulin resistant. Gradually the patient ends up being diabetic. So this is what I meant, that the medicine should be harmless. Not that you treat for hyperlipidemia and patient ends up being diabetic. Then they give the medicine for diabetes. Then once diabetes is treated, some other disease will come. So we should not create a web of diseases for patient. But we should our treatment has to be very harmless. Another example I can give. For example, patients who take Thyronorm for hypothyroidism. Now same thing, if you are taking the drug for quite long, you will end up having cancer. So their explanation is what there, when it comes, it may come after a few years, so then why are you bothered now? Now you take Thyronorm, then when it comes we will see. But being a doctor, taking an oath, do you think it is right we do if we treat like this? We should be helping the patient, not helping the disease to grow inside the body. So harmless, this is what I meant by harmless. That is, one disease should not grow for making a way for the other disease. So our medicine has to act in a most harmless way. Then comes the last part, that is on easily comprehensible principle. So what does this mean? It means that the principle on which our treatment is to be based has to be a fixed principle. Principle should not be changeable, like today it will tell this and tomorrow that. No. It should be based on nature's law. And most important, it has to be easily understandable. So coming again to the same point, what is the highest ideal of cure? So divide the aphorisms into bits and pieces, explain it properly. Your 10 marks or 15 marks question is ready. But I believe not only for your exams, today with this chapter you would have learned some things. That is, what is the difference a doctor can make in the society? How well we can treat the patient without increasing their agony in the shortest way, without bringing on more diseases, and you can make and feel that you are so lucky that you chose homeopathy. Thank you. Let's stay tuned for more.